Today here we are back with our episode number 4, Nurturing Corner with Shumee. And today Hindola is going to help us answer some of this. She is going to help us give us insights about how language development happens for our little ones. How can we set up a language, an environment to foster language development?
Hi Hindola, welcome back.
Thank you so much, Mita.
To start off, can you help us understand how language development or language differs for humans and for animals?
So animals are born pre-coded genetically to produce the sounds of their species. But humans do not come with any pre-coded language. We have the potentiality to learn a language. Um, the children absorb the language of the environment and the culture, and that's what makes human language development so unique.
So that's really fascinating, Hindola. So, what are the key factors necessary for a child to develop language effectively?
So there are two important things. One is a language rich environment, and one is the desire to speak. When I say language rich environment, that's something that is created by the adults in the child's life. How do we create this language rich environment? Right from when the child is in the womb, from 23 weeks of the gestation, the child can start hearing. So we can start talking to the child from when the child is in the womb. And after the child is born, you'll see that the child is really interested in looking at the mouth when people are talking, and they can see only until 25 centimeters, so it helps to go close to the child and just talk to the child. It's important to talk to the child and not just around the child. Also, to use the correct words and not use baby talk. um, Instead of baby talk, we can use something called parentese or motherese. Actually, naturally, we tend to do this in all languages. This uses a higher pitch and the intonation is more, and we talk slower. Like, how are you today? You seem really happy. That's parentese or motherese. And research has shown that instead of baby talk, using parentese helps the child develop much greater vocabulary than when you use baby talk.
So, can you help us understand what baby talk is like? And because I, as a parent, myself, I am hearing the word parent use for the first time. So, I think this is a really new concept. I think for many of you have heard baby talk, but how do we differentiate again? I know you gave some examples, but if you can just deep dive on this a little further.
Yes. Even when the child is cooing and babbling, we imitate the child saying, and we imitate the child rather than imitating the child and saying ga ga goo goo to the child. You're not really helping the child develop language, right? To use proper language, to when you're talking to the child, use your language rather than than imitating the baby. That is what I mean by baby talk. And also using simpler words for babies, right? Like many people in our local language, instead of saying water, they say jia or mum for food. So use the right language, because for the child it is the same. Mum or food is, the child is going to get it at the same pace.
So in total, like you mentioned, words like mama, mum, and things like that. But a lot of like, especially our elders and people in the family would say ki it's easier for the child to say mama for water instead of teaching them water. So how do we resolve that, or how do we best navigate this? Because it becomes. I mean, what is your take on that?
I feel like we should allow the child to figure out what is the easy word for him to say. When you say water, the child might not be able to say water, that's true. But you continue saying water. When the child has the ability, he might just say wawa. And as a parent, you'll understand what the child is trying to say. We need not provide shortcuts for the child. The child will figure out what to do. As a parent, we give him proper, correct vocabulary and grammar.
Also, again, reading is also supposed to help in language development, right? And but what is the right age, and how does reading help in this in developing language? And by when should we start reading for children?
So I would say start reading to children from when they're born.
Oh,
Yes. So initially, when they're born, they can only see a black and white vision is what they have the initial couple of months. So there are many black and white books with only black and white images. So take it close to them, lie down next to your child and read to the child. And using realistic pictures because this child until the age of 6 does not have the concept of abstract. What he sees is what he understands. So using realistic pictures is very important. um, and as the child grows, you can sit with the child depending on how the child's posture is. You can be with the child and read to the child. So a few things are important when you select books. As I said, realistic books, having books about everyday activities that you do. And also, maybe initially they can have board books because that's easier for them to manipulate, and short books because the child should be able to sit through it.
So, parents, I hope you gathered a lot about language development and how you can create a language rich environment for your little ones to develop their first words and start communicating with you and with the world at large. Thank you for joining us in today's episode. I'm enjoying each of these episodes, and I'm hoping that all of you are too. So, we would love to hear back from you. Please send in your comments, your questions, anything that you would like to know, and we would help to answer them to the best of our knowledge.